All right, so now that we've done our ISN setup, it's time to move on to the next part of today, where I'm going to give you a short mini lesson on figurative language and common forms of figurative language. So, figurative language, the definition is speech or writing that departs or leaves from literal meaning in order to achieve a special effect or meaning. Literal language, which is the opposite of figurative language, are just words that mean exactly what they say. Let's take a look at an example. Literal, my dog's fur is brown and white. Straightforward, your dog is brown and white. Versus figurative, my dog's fur is like mud dripping from a white mop. So it's not literally a white mop with mud on it. However, it creates a special effect or meaning. Thus, it's figurative language. Some common forms of figurative language are similes, metaphors, hyperboles, alliteration, personification, and onomatopoeia. So you tried to see if you could use these in your warm-up this morning and identify them. And if you did, that's awesome. We're going to go over the warm-up at the end of this lesson. So let's take a look at these in a little deeper meaning. A simile is a comparison of two unlike things using like or as. I ran like the wind. So this simile is comparing a person to the wind. Again, those are very unlike things. However, when you compare them, it creates a meaning in someone's head that is not a literal meaning, but it kind of paints a picture in your reader's mind that you were running fast, and therefore it is figurative language. A metaphor is similar to a simile. However, it's a comparison of two unlike things without using like or as. I'm a walking dictionary. So, a person is very different from a dictionary. However, what this metaphor is explaining is that this person can repeat any definition of a word on command because he's similar to a dictionary in the sense that he knows a lot of definitions. So it's not a literal meaning. He's not actually a walking dictionary because that would be pretty freaky, but it is comparing without using like or as, thus making it a metaphor. Okay, and a hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration used to prove a point. So take a look at this meme. An example would be a hyperbole is without a doubt the single greatest thing in the history of the universe. Well, it's probably not actually the greatest thing in the history of the universe. Therefore, it's an exaggeration. Oftentimes, you guys will come into class and say, Miss Burns, I had 70 hours of homework. Well, okay, great use of a hyperbole because you didn't actually have 70 hours of homework. But you're trying to prove a point by saying, I had way too much homework last night. It's not fair. I couldn't finish it all. And you're using a hyperbole to prove your point. All right, moving on to alliteration. An alliteration is repeated consonant sounds in the line of a text. So consonant sounds are different than vowels. Vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Consonant sounds are all the other letters, S, L, B, C. So if you look at this example, I don't always use alliteration, but when I do, I make it fun, funny, and fabulous. So that repeated F sound in this line creates an alliteration. Another example would be Bobby Blue Bubbles. So they all start with the letter B. Bobby Blue Bubbles. And it kind of creates this fun way to say something. And it's really fun for your reader to read those sounds because it just is fun to say with the tongue. Bobby Blue Bubbles. However, similar with going color crazy, we don't want to go figurative language crazy because it'd be really hard to get through a whole paragraph if every single letter started with B. So it's usually just about 2 to 3 words that are repeated to create this special effect. Okay, personification. Personification is giving human qualities to a non-human object or animal. For example, she did not realize the opportunity that was knocking at her door. So opportunity, it's a concept. It's not a person. It can't actually knock at a door. Therefore, it's giving human qualities to an object or animal. All right, last one, onomatopoeia. Words that sound like their meaning. Boom, boom, pow, zonk, wow. Pow, biff, crush, crunch. So these are words that create a special effect in their sound. So if you used it in a text, it would be, bam, he punched her in the face. Right? You're getting that sound when you read. All right, so now that we've briefly gone over each of these, let's see if you can identify which figurative language is being used in these sentences. So the first one, it was so cold that if you spit, the slob would be an ice cube before it hit the ground. It was about a zillion degrees below zero. Take a second and see if you know what it means, or which figurative language is being used. If you said hyperbole, you are right. So the slob would be an ice cube before it hit the ground. So that's pretty literal, right? Because you could have your spit turn into an ice cube. That's not figurative. That could actually happen. However, it was about a zillion degrees below zero. Well, that's kind of impossible. Therefore, it's an hyperbole. It's an extreme exaggeration. And the point he's trying to prove is that it was really, really cold outside. That was by Christopher Paul Curtis, The Watsons Go to Birmingham. Let's check out this next example by the same author, but from Bud Not Buddy. My heart started jumping around in my stomach as soon as I reached out for the shotgun. So, is this onomatopoeia? Is this a metaphor? If you said personification, you are right. So your heart cannot jump around in your stomach. It's giving human qualities to a non-human object. Okay, good job, guys. Thank you for listening to my short lesson on figurative language. The next part of this lesson is going to go over the warm-up so you can see how these are applied in Julius Caesar and see how well you did on your warm-up. So go to the next video on Google Classroom and watch the key to the warm-up.